The NFL season has come and gone, and we're not getting our next season until about 6.5 months. But that doesn't mean we gotta be sad. We can still cherish the moments we had this season. And that's what you're here for today, a full recap of the NFL season. It's actually just a compilation of all my recaps weekly, but same thing. You get it. Enjoy! Football is back. After months of waiting, I have been so excited to see the football season, and also dreading it. But that's beside the point. Let's get into these games and recap what happened in week 1. And the Ravens lost. God damn it. Whatever, it is what it is. They lost in a close, very close game that very much reminded me of their championship game back in January. The Ravens played with a different style. They did a lot of checkdowns. They barely ran the ball with Derrick Henry. I know he started off slow, but I thought he was getting going, but they just didn't run with him. Lamar looked like a lean, mean fighting machine out there, and Isaiah likely looked like a George Kittle 2.0 out there. Goddamn. But unfortunately for us, the Chiefs have a very good team. Rashid Rice is playing when he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be playing. And Xavier Worthy is very, very quick and fast and dandy. And you know what? I'm a little salty because of the Ronnie Stanley stuff. He had 4 illegal shifts on him, even though the Chiefs were doing the exact same thing. But that's beside the point. We just gotta accept one thing here. I got mad. I was seething. I was cussing. We gotta accept here that the referees are gonna make some dog shit calls. And I'm not saying like, oh, their job's perfect. No, the referees are ass. The referees are dog shit. They're dog shit. We just gotta accept their dog shit. If we all accept the referees are dog shit, we're gonna enjoy football a lot more. Probably not, actually. Also, I want to say this. Buffalo, come here. Buffalo Bills. So you guys traded with the Chiefs, and you guys let them get Xavier Worthy. You guys are rivals. You let them get the fastest man in NFL history to the most genius mind in any read to scheme. Are you nuts? Are you crazy? You didn't think it backfire week 1? Look at him. He got 2 touchdowns. He got. Don't be so fucking fast! Why'd you guys let him get him? Chiefs win on an nail-biter. Isaiah Likely is just out of bounds. And that is the sum up of the Chiefs-Ravens game. Man, this game was actually pretty good. Unfortunately, the field was literal hell. Everyone was falling down. It was scrapes and drops everywhere, and Jordan Love is out to 4 weeks. Maybe because of the field too. I don't understand why the NFL... I'm not blaming Brazil or their field, actually. I'm blaming the NFL because they knew going into it what the field was going to be. They could have picked a different location or just build their own field. But they didn't. It's like they had a year to plan this shit, and they're getting players injured. Now Jordan Love's out 4 weeks because the NFL is stupid and cheap and just doesn't do their shit right. And it pisses me off because I don't want to see any players get hurt because it's sad. But you know what? Overall, it was a fun game. So what can you say about it? I'm not surprised in the slightest this game played out this way. I had Atlanta winning this game, but Pittsburgh going in and kicking 6 field goals and beating the Falcons and stopping their high-powered offense is something the Steelers would do, and in fact, that's what they did. They did that, do what they did that do, you know what I mean? Falcons, get your shit together, man. Come on. Kirk Cousins, I hope that Achilles injury is not lingering too much because they wasted a lot of money on you if they did. And the Steelers, and this is just who they are. That was actually very sad. The Giants, at home, favored to lose at 1 point, got stomped by the Minnesota Vikings. Despite Minnesota's injuries, they handled them very easily. Sam Darnold played very well. The Giants fans were booing Daniel Jones out of the stadium and actually waited till he left the stadium to boo him, which is kind of up. A little up. That Giants team is cooked. It looks to be cooked already. Daniel Jones is likely going to get benched in a few weeks. I don't see how he doesn't. And Minnesota looks like a pretty alright team, so what's not to like? The game ended exactly how I thought it would, but the entire game is not how I expected it to go. The Jaguars were outplaying the Dolphins for 3 quarters and a half in this game and should have won, but of stupid mental errors and stupid fumbles that costed them the game. Tyreek Hill got handcuffed off of BS stuff with the police and then came back and scored a beautiful 80-yard touchdown and had a nice celly with it as well. And now the Jaguars are... I don't know what the hell to think of the Jaguars, man. 8-9, 9-8? I don't know. It's week 1. I'm so confused what's happening right now. Now, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I kind of call how this game's going to go. It's going to be a close, back-and-forth shootout. Sort of. The Cardinals were up 17-3, and the Bills stormed back and kind of took control of the game, but the Cardinals did very well. They actually just didn't cover the spread. They were favored to lose by 6, and they lost exactly by 6. But still, I think the Cardinals' offense is very good, and it's going to keep being very good. The defense, on the other hand, is very sus. Very, very sus indeed. But overall, the Cardinals look like a better team from last year, and the Bills look like exactly how we thought they'd be. A lot of running, Josh Allen making up plays, throwing the ball. It is what it is. Damn. It was a pretty solid game overall. Honestly, I thought the Colts could have won this game, but a few things could have gone their way. In the drive where Anthony Richardson threw an interception, 2 plays before that, he just missed Adonai Mitchell for a touchdown that could have completely changed the game. These teams are so close, and I'm happy they're in the same division because they're going to play again this year. Overall, what a fun game. CJ Stroud, it does not look like the sophomore slump is affecting him at all. He played very well. Stephon Diggs had 30 yards and 2 touchdowns in a very strange stat line. And overall, this team is just very good. Joe Mixon had wide open holes all game. I think any running back could have ran through those holes, but whatever. We got to see him play more. I still think he's on the decline, but we'll see. And it was a overall cool game. A lot of things you get in this game. High action plays, block punts, INTs. What's not to love? Truly will go down as a game in NFL history. The Titans and Bears put on an absolute instant classic last night. The Bears coming back from a 17-point lead despite not getting a single offensive touchdown, and Caleb Williams throwing under 100 yards. That has got to be a record of some sort, but goddamn, the Bears did it. They found a way and won. Despite all their talent on offense, their offense didn't do jack shit, but their defense did. And Will Levis, of course, got the job done for the Bears. Hopefully Caleb Williams can play better because that was a little rough. But it's his first game, so we gotta cut the guy some slack. He's only a rookie, you guys. I don't know how it could get any worse from last year, but it did. It got worse from last year. 47-10. 47-10 from the New Orleans Saints. The Carolina Panthers got worse from last year. Somehow they got a better O-line, more weapons, and their offense got worse. How is that possible? And worst of all, they got cooked by Derek Carr. Derek Carr's trash talking your best cornerback. Oh my god. And Derek Brown's out for the year. Oh my god! Why does God hate the Panthers so much? They haven't even accomplished anything. They had that one great year with Cam Newton, but give them a break. They don't deserve this. No one deserves this. Oh, God. Chargers Raiders, first game for Jim Harbaugh, and he established a run game with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, and it worked. Of course it did. Of course it worked. And the passing game was not really there, aside from a few passes from Herbert, but they just established a run game. And by God, they got a run game finally with Justin Herbert. Now, if they get him some weapons to throw to, that'd be great, because Lama Conky's all fine and nice, and Josh Palmer's all cool and dandy, but they need some bona fide studs at wide receiver, and they don't got him yet, at least. I think the Chargers look pretty decent. The Raiders, this is who the Raiders are. Don't be surprised with the Raiders. This is who they are. They're going to be getting their shit stomped one week and win a good game next week. That's just who they damn are. When the Broncos and Seahawks face, I always think of the Super Bowl matchup. Now when I see them play, I think of, man, where do the years go by of Russell Wilson and Peyton Manning? Geno Smith looked very, very rusty, and Bo Nix is not as QB ready as we thought he was. Now he kept the game within 6 points because the Broncos got 2 safeties, which has got to be very unlikely. They were close to a third. I don't know if that's a record, but if that's a record, that's a goddamn great record to have. But yes. They played in Seattle. Seattle's a hostile environment playing, so I'll cut them some slack. But compared to other QBs, Bo Nix played pretty mid. Not the worst, not the best, but pretty mid. The Seahawks have got a dub, despite almost losing this game. But, you know, it is what it is. The Cowboys and Browns. Man, it feels bittersweet. After all last year, I've been saying Deshaun Watson sucks. But people don't believe because his record is good. But then you look at PJ Walker play, and Dorian Thompson and Joe Flacco play, and they play better than him, and they're winning games. But still they yet to say he has a winning record. Well, guess what? Watch that game last night. That was the worst QB performance I saw this week. Worse than Caleb Williams. I don't give a damn about his O-line. The dude would not pass over 15 yards in the air. He missed wide open receivers. His reads were awful. And he's just not even the same player anymore. Man, oh man. And look at the Cowboys. They come into Cleveland and they beat them. Their offense didn't play perfect. Heck, Dak Prescott threw under 200 yards. And in the second half, their offense did not drive anywhere. They got a good special teams and a good interception. Their offense was stuck. Listen, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm biased as hell. I'm biased. But I think this is karma. I think this is goddamn karma because you know why. You know why it's karma. I'm not going to say it. You know why. And I think this is a stone cold feeling to the Browns of seeing Baker Mayfield go to a different team and just start balling out still. Without Dave Cannells. It's only game 1, but dude threw 4 touchdown passes against Washington, but you know what I mean. It is hard to play quarterback in the NFL. And I think this is a slap in the face of the Browns organization, and justifiably so because of you know why. You know why. Deshaun Watson's playing like ass, and Baker Mayfield goes out and balls out another place, and that's the name of the game. So, yeah. Speaking of Baker Mayfield, he did a very good job beating the Commanders, although the Commanders do suck ass. He did very well, and Jane Daniels probably played the best out of all the rookie QBs in week 1. No interceptions, 180 yards passing, which was the most out of all the QBs, and rushing the most at 88 yards and 2 touchdowns rushing. So I do think Jane Daniels has very good potential here. I think if he gets a better team around him, he could do some damage. But I like so far what we got from Daniels. Game of the week, bar none, my favorite game of the week. Lions, Rams, Stafford versus the Lions, round 3. It's 1-1. Who's taking the third matchup? Let's go. Lions get up 17-3 after Stafford threw a pick in the end zone because the Lions are in camouflage, those sneaky bastards. But then Matt Stafford storms back, and probably the most flawless performance in the second half from a QB this week, and he was absolutely diamond up people without Puka Nacua. Get healthy, Puka, you're awesome. And it was amazing. Unfortunately, couldn't hold off enough, and the Lions got a field goal, and then it went to OT, and the rest was history, and the Lions won in a very good game. So, you know what? A fun primetime game. We got 3 primetime games that have all been pretty solid. Despite the Packers one having a shitty field, they've all been pretty good. No Christian McCaffrey, no problem. The backup, Jordan Mason, just easily took over the role and did a great job with it. And the Jets, I mean, listen, this is a win right here. Aaron Rodgers is fine. He's healthy. He looked okay. You guys were going to lose. Listen, we all knew they were going to lose. Even McCaffrey not playing, it's like, they were going to lose. But still, he looked okay. He didn't get hurt. That's a win. I consider that a win, baby. Niners move on to face whoever the next week, and the Jets move on to face the Titans next week, so they're probably going to get the first win next week, so it's all good. And that is my review of Week 1 football, ladies and gentlemen. I will hopefully be back next week to review more games and predict games tomorrow. See ya! Well, everybody, that was certainly a week of football, and it was certainly a very wacky one. Now let's just get into the games and review what the heck happened in this gosh darn weird league. Starting off with a very, very depressing game. The Bills easily beat the Dolphins 31-10 on Thursday night in Miami. Now, let's just say this. The Bills easily were the better team. The Dolphins struggled with turnovers, etc. But the main thing I want to talk about is Tua Tagovailoa. He suffered a clear concussion again. This is about the 3rd or 4th time where he has had visual evidence of having a concussion, of being stiff. And it's a scary sight to see, honestly. Tua is out for this week, and unknown status for the rest of the season. He says he wants to keep playing, and he probably will, but it's a little telling when doctors and a head coach in the NFL thinks that you should retire. I don't know. I think he will come back, but if this was Tua's last game, I want to say thank you to Tua Tagovailoa. His career was very short, but he gave the Dolphins fans a lot of great memories and a lot of fun games and a lot of fun performances. So if this is your last game, Tua, thank you. Okay, so what? Dallas just got steamrolled at home by the New Orleans Saints? And the Saints offense looks great? No, sorry. The whole Saints team looks great? They destroyed the Panthers, yes, but that's the Panthers. They just walked in and just had their way with that cowboy. My goodness, Alvin Kamara is back to his prime form after maybe like 2 years of being off. Derek Carr looks very good. Rashid Shaheed is like the 2.0 version of Deshaun Jackson. It's like, what is happening here? The Cowboys' defense looks absolutely cooked. They looked pretty good last week. All of a sudden, they're cooked. They couldn't cover Foster Monroe, Rashid Shaheed, and Chris Olave. Oh my goodness. Overall, people are going to shit on Dak for this. Honestly, it's not really his fault. His team gave up 44 points. He got the team to the red zone a lot. He didn't get them touchdowns, but he got them there a lot. He had a pair of interceptions, but again, one of them was not really his fault. Whatever, man. I don't even know what the hell to think of this league anymore. The Panthers are historically bad. This might be one of the worst teams I've ever seen in my life. When you go at home and face the Chargers and you lose, you get blown out, put up 3 points, that is telling. Now, the Chargers never been a bad team, but the Chargers always keep these teams close or lose. And they did not. They kicked the shit out of the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young, any potential he had is gone. It is vanished in the atmosphere. He was just recently benched by Andy Dalton, which is crazy to think. You could at least give him to week 5. I know he's not playing good, but my God, you gave up everything for him. At least play him till halfway through the season before you bench him. David Tepper, you are absolutely the worst owner in the NFL. Maybe all time. You're actually trash. You're actually ruining your team. And it just pisses me off that this shit happened. And it's like to the teams like the Patriots, who look pretty good, who won 6 Super Bowls and are looking to have a bright future. But the Panthers have nothing, and they're sucking ass. My word. I'm sorry, Panthers fans. I truly am sorry. Alright, Jaguars, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I hate you. I hate you, Jaguars. You guys are the biggest cock tease team in the league, specifically Trevor Lawrence. I've never seen a team get to the 5-3-yard line and then kick a field goal. It happens every single game, and you lost to the Browns. Deshaun Watson sucks, okay? He sucks. He played like shit yesterday. Okay, maybe he didn't play like shit. He played fine, but he didn't play very good either. The Jaguars were home, they had a free win, and they blew it. Trevor Lawrence got sacked for a safety in the end zone. Oh my god. That was the deal breaker, man. What the hell is happening? The Browns defense carried their The Browns defense carried their offense to a win. The rest is history. The Jaguars are cooked. You guys are cooked. What a fun game. I actually picked this game right. The Buccaneers got the revenge from the division round game and defeated the Lions. And Baker Mayfield still looks pretty dang good. Do you know what else looks very good? Aiden Hutchinson. My god, that man had 5 sacks. What the hell? Overall, a very fun back-and-forth game with a lot of wackiness. You know, Lions game have those wackiness. Dan Kimball's going to drive you insane, you know, like go for it a 4th and 12 on your own 20, but kick a field goal at 35 on a 4th and 1. You know, Dan Kimball things, you know. Overall, I thought the Buccaneers looked very, very good on offense, and defense looked pretty good as well. Jared Goff looks a little shaky, which could be concerning because they really need to get that run game going. Okay, you know what? I'm actually happy Daniel Jones played better because I actually kind of felt bad for him. The dude was getting harassed by Giants fans, telling him to, stuff I can't say. But, you know, he actually played a pretty decent game. Again, it was against the Commanders, but, you know, Malik Neighbors broke out, had a great game. Good for the Giants. Only one issue, they lost. They lost to the Commanders. The Commanders kicked 6 field goals and won the game. That's the only issue here. The Commanders, I don't know. I don't know how to describe them. This is the second week in a row where a team has won just by kicking field goals. If it happens every week, I might actually never watch football again because I don't know if I can handle that many field goals in a game. I don't know if I can, guys. Jane Daniels looks pretty good, though. He's pretty solid. Best rookie QB. Still, so far. Every time I watch the Niners game, I always think about their Super Bowl loss to the Chiefs, and I think about this team freaking blew it. And I don't even hate the Niners. I don't hate them. When they lost to the Vikings, I thought, good. Sam Darnold revenge game. The Vikings are one of the most underrated teams in the league. Kevin O'Connell is one of the most underrated coaches in the league. His play calling is very good. He's making Sam Darnold look good. He made Nick Mullins look good last year. Josh Dobbs. He's a good coach. We can't deny it. Kevin O'Connell knows what he is doing on the offensive side. And Brian Flores, man, he's just what the Vikings needed in that defense. And the Niners, the Niners, their offensive line did not look very good. Brock Purdy got sacked 6 times. Jordan Mason still played very good, though, somehow. The Vikings also are 2-0. And are currently leading the AFC North, which is not what I expected considering their quarterback is Sam Darnold. A surprisingly pretty fun game of 2 teams that duked it out in the Super Bowl nearly 10 years ago. Oh my god, I'm old. Actually, you know, it was a pretty solid game. DK Metcalf had a great game. JSN had an amazing game. And Jacoby Brissett actually played very well against a pretty good Seahawks team. The Patriots are a very interesting team because I don't know what to say about them. I thought they're going to be absolute dog shit, but they beat the Bengals and went to overtime with the Seahawks, who are a pretty solid team. So maybe the Patriots might be onto something with Gerard Mayo. Their defense looks pretty good. The offense could use some work. They don't have many weapons. But honestly, I'd get excited if I'm a Patriots fan because, man, oh man. And I would get excited if I'm a Seahawks fan too because this could be the division this year. This is a dog. They're very simple creatures. They don't do much. They sit, play, eat, poop, sleep, repeat. It's a very simple life. Do you know what dogs can't do? Dogs can't talk. They can't drive cars, and they can't play video games. And they can't blow 10-point leads to the Raiders. I repeat, dogs can't blow 4th quarter 10-point leads to the goddamn Raiders. I don't even know how to process this game. I'm still so in shock of what happened. All I remember is Raiders. They're beating the entire game. They're up 10, and then they tied the game. I watched that Devontae Adams touchdown. I'm like, what the hell? Why would we let them back in the game? And this is what happened, okay? The first play on offense when the game was tied. The first play. One of the best defensive players in the league. Max Crosby, unblocked, running full speed at Lamar Jackson. What the hell are we doing? That killed the drive. The drive was over instantly. He got sacked for 10 yards. The drive is done. Oh my god. And then the punting happened. Okay, listen. Jordan Stout, I'm rooting for you. But man, you can't punt 20 yards. It's a game of the line. They had the ball at their own 45, and then we took a penalty. They started the drive at our own 45. They only need 10 yards to get a field goal, and they got like 20. Kick the field goal. We have 0 timeouts left. 20 seconds. And the Ravens got to travel, let's be honest here, the Ravens had to travel like 40 yards. Anything that was over 52 yards, Tucker was going to miss. I don't know what's happening. I think Tucker might be broken. He might be broken. I don't know. But anything over 52 yards was going to be missed. So we were cooked. And that was it. The Raiders completed a comeback. And Lamar Jackson is 0-2 in his career against Gardner Minshew. Now the Ravens have a tough-ass schedule. They got to face Dallas, Buffalo, and Cincinnati the next 3 games. If we lose next week, we might be cooked. Oh, God. Oh, God. So the Jets and Titans had a game this week. It was pretty good. Bad. I didn't watch it. I'm sorry. Aaron Rodgers looked better. He still looked immobile as heck. And Will Levis, again, gave us the best pitcher of the week right here. Boop. What a funny lad. I got nothing to say about this game because I didn't really watch it, and I didn't really care to watch it because I think these are 2 teams that are going to finish with 7 wins. So moving on. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Matt LaFleur is that dude. I'm telling you guys, Matt LaFleur knows what the hell he is doing. I love the Colts this year. I have them winning the division. But even I thought, man, I think the Colts could easily lose this game because of one thing, run defense. There you go. Josh Jacobs, 150 yards. Thank you very much. And Malik Willis played he did his job. He did pretty well. The defense did well. Anthony Richardson was doing Anthony Richardson things. Being reckless with the ball. Throwing it everywhere but the end zone. Into the Packers' hands. Just being an all-around fun guy. The Packers will be fine. Jordan Love will come back in a few weeks. This team will be fine. Colts, though, gotta get some wins, bud. Get some wins here, guys. My God, that Cardinals offense is lethal. You use Marvin Harrison, and boom, 40 points first game. Golly. The Rams, though, they're scaring me. They're scaring me a little bit. I think they're gonna be good, and they're 0-2, and they got their shit kicked in by the Cardinals, who Sean McVay owns. Sean McVay does very well against Cardinals. They got their asses kicked up and down the field for 60 minutes. My God, this is not looking good. I'm scared. Someone please hold me. Cooper Kupp is out, and Pook is out, and their O-line's all hurt. Oh, I feel so bad. I want them to do good this year, but it's looking not great. However, the Cardinals look very good, and they could be a good team this year. I had them going 8 wins. They could get around there. Maybe more. We shall see, shall we? Well, this game was certainly a Pittsburgh game, 13-6 or 7. I don't know, man. Pittsburgh manages to win games in the most boring way possible. I don't know how Steelers fans deal with it. You get 9+ wins a year, but the games are going to be brutally boring, slow to watch, tons of field goals, and TJ Watt sacks. What else is there to say about Steelers games? They make me want to gouge my eyes out and rip my hair out and shove them up my ass. But other than that, the Steelers play exactly the same. So I got nothing to say about this goddamn franchise that is currently 2-0 in the division, while the Ravens and Bengals are 0-2, and the Browns have a win. They're in first. They're going to finish first, and I can't take any more of this. Chiefs, Bengals, everyone thought the Chiefs were going to steamroll them, but the Bengals-Chiefs games are usually very close, and the Bengals controlled most of this game until the very last play. In the most typical Chiefs way fashion, 4th and long, got to get in field goal range, throws an incomplete pass, and there's the flag. I mean, let's be honest here. This was pass interference. I mean, how could you say, the Chiefs and Mahomes are this good when, legit, it's a flag to get them in field goal range in, the closest games majority of the time? Call me a hater. I don't really care. I couldn't give a They're gonna win the Super Bowl again this year anyway, so why do I even give a shit? Man, this game felt like an absolute blow, but it was actually a 6-point game the entire game. Caleb Williams, my God, that man's O-line has actually gotten worse since Justin Fields there. I don't know how that's possible, but it's gotten worse. Holy shit, the Texans were bringing the boom every goddamn play, and they were sacking and tackling Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams had some pretty bad throws too. I'm not gonna excuse everything he did. He had some pretty bad throws in that game. And the Texans somehow only won by 6. Texans are just a strange team, you guys. They're 2-0. They're gonna be the playoff team. They're probably gonna win the division, but they take a shit ton of penalties. Their O-line isn't very good. I don't know. Outside of Nico Collins, I don't think that offense is very dangerous. Stroud is very good. Nico Collins is very good, but Tank Dell does not look the same. Stephon Diggs is not nearly as lethal, and Joe Mixon, guys, come on. Let's Joe Mixon. I don't really understand the Texans. They confuse me, but we shall see further in the future how they do. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. The Falcons, after playing lackluster all game and last week, in the final drive of the Eagles game, had a very good drive, and Kirk Cousins finally looks like the guy they paid a shit ton of money for. Now, the Eagles probably should have won this game. Saquon had a brutal drop that basically costed them the game, but I wouldn't say it's all in Saquon. I think this defense is still having issues, and they need to fix that up. But for the Falcons, this is very good because they needed this momentum, and this could be huge for their season. Who knows where they go from here? And the Eagles, fix your shitty defense. Week 3 over, time to talk about game. Let's start off with a Thursday game, the Jets and Patriots. Wow, this game was actually a dog shit stomping. The Patriots didn't do a goddamn thing all game and got destroyed by the Jets. It's a new era in the NFL, truly. Their O-line is terrible. The Jets' offense came alive and finally looked like what we've been waiting for. Aaron Rodgers looked very good. Man, the Patriots' offense is very limited, and they cannot play that type of football against the Jets. They cannot go shot for shot. So there you go. That's the game. They just got their ass kicked. They couldn't score. Basic things. Wow, I thought the Vikings were going to win this game, but man, I don't think they're going to win by that. My God, the Vikings laid a smackdown on the Houston Texans. Their O-line, I knew it struggled, but damn, it struggled all game. C.J. Stroud had no time to breathe. He was getting hit and sacked like every single play. That offense on the Minnesota did really, really well against Houston's defense. And Sam Darnold threw 4 touchdown passes. So goddamn, I know it's the system. I know Kevin O'Connell's a good coach, and I know they got good receivers, but that's still impressive. So good for Sam Darnold. The Vikings look to be a pretty solid team. I don't know if they're going to keep this up because sometimes teams that start off hot kind of dip later in the year. But for now, good for them. The Texans, though, you guys got a lot of issues. You still take a lot of penalties, and you still can't block for C.J. Stroud. For God's sakes, do something. Well, you know what? At least Caleb Williams got better. He threw the ball a lot more. He actually passed to Rome. He passed to DJ Moore. He's still having growing pains, though. He's still throwing interceptions. Some of his passes aren't the greatest, and some of his reads aren't the best. But you know what? It's better. Also, Anthony Richardson. My God, man. Why can't you have a normal game? Why can't you just play normal for once? Why do you have to make everything so complicated? Why? Why are you like this? Matt Eberflus sucks as a head coach. He's going to get fired after this year, and I don't know why they kept him. They should have just started with a new head coach, because it's a lot easier starting with a new head coach, with a new quarterback. But you know what? Whatever. Keep Eberflus, but he sucks. Come on, Tampa Bay. You guys can't do this. You can't just beat Detroit in Detroit and then get your asses kicked by the Denver Broncos. The game wasn't even close. You guys got your asses kicked. You lost by 20. I was believing in you guys, and you can't do this. I guess because they won a game they weren't supposed to, and then the next week they got all cocky and they lost. So sometimes that happens, unfortunately. But you know what? Good for Denver. Bo Nix played pretty solid. Not gonna lie, he had a rush touchdown and he passed for over 200 yards and didn't throw a pick. So it's getting better for Bo Nix. Overall, I hate this, but sometimes the NFL makes no goddamn sense, and today was a game of not making any goddamn sense. What's to be said about this game? It is truly a masterpiece of our time. Pittsburgh Steelers game are truly the games of all time. They go in there, play some boring football, smack you around for 60 minutes. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. In this instance, they won. Justin Fields is 3-0 as a starter for Pittsburgh. Good for him. I like Justin Fields. However, I hate the Steelers. Fuck the Steelers. I hate this fucking team. God damn it. The Chargers, Herbert got hurt, unfortunately, and that run game was not clicking at all. TJ Watt is very good, and that defense is very good. Mike Tomlin, he's a good coach, guys. He's a good coach. That's all I gotta say. Chargers lose, Pittsburgh wins, whatever. This was truly a weird-ass game. The Philadelphia Eagles were killing the Saints in total yards, and the Saints were leading most of this game until the Eagles decided to stop their shit up and actually start scoring some points. And they did score some points, and eventually they're winning. But then Derek Carr said, nah, I want the lead back. And then he took the lead back, but then Dallas Goedert on the Eagles said, no, I want the lead back. So Dallas Goedert ran really fast to the end of the Saints thing, and then Saquon Barkley said, I really want the lead back, and he scored a touchdown. But then Barkley says, we need to get more points. So Barkley got 2-point convert, Eagles had the lead, and then Derek Carr said, I really don't want the lead back, and threw the ball to the Eagles. And that was the game. I still don't know why the Titans were favored in this game. It was exactly how I predicted it to go. It doesn't matter. Malik Willis is in. Their head coach is very good. Their team is very good. And they just beat the crap out of the Titans. It's simple as this. I don't know why these Vegas odds makers are giving the Titans so much credit. And I don't think the Titans are that bad of a team, okay? I don't think they're that bad. I think they got some talent. I think Will Levis is not terrible. I think he has some talent. But come on, read the room, guys. They're not going to win this game, and they didn't win this game. And the Packers are 2-1. Don't get it twisted. Jordan Love is still a very, very much better quarterback than Malik Willis. Malik Willis has done fine, but again, he is a backup, and he's just doing what the system has him to do. Just not turn over the ball, hand it off, and be safe with the ball. And he did that very well. So good for him. So the Giants just beat the Browns. Holy crap, this is amazing. The Giants of New York got their first win in Cleveland, and that great defense of the Browns couldn't stop 3 touchdowns from the Giants. Wow. Just wow. Well, okay, let's look at the game. Daniel Jones played very good. Malik Neighbors played very good. And their D-line played very good. Deshaun Watson sucks. I don't give a damn about his stats. He lost to the Giants. He had almost 50% completion percentage against the Giants. He sucks. He's not good anymore, Browns fans. Deal with it. I'm sorry, but deal with it. He's not good anymore. Giants have hope. The Giants are back. Oh, yeah. This situation got from worse to better or worse. The Panthers won, but Andy Dalton played amazing? Played great? The Raiders aren't even a bad team. Their defense is solid. Is Bryce Young that bad? I don't think I can believe that Bryce Young is that bad. We gotta see a few more weeks from this Panthers offense, but my God, if Andy Dalton continues to play pretty solid, Bryce Young, man, he might be in the contention for the biggest draft bust ever. It is a sad sight to see in Carolina. David Tepper is still a shitty owner who screwed up his whole future, so that is about it for that. And the Raiders, what the hell, guys? You just beat the Ravens one week and then you lose to the Panthers? Come on, stop making us look worse, man. Win. I should be happy. The Ravens got their first win of the season. But you know what? I'm not. You could say I'm being sour grapes or overreacting, but I feel the exact same way about this team as I did last week. Here we go. They go into Dallas. They dominate Dallas, defensively and offensively, for 3.5 quarters. If they just won this game by a blowout, I would feel so confident. But you know what they did? They did the exact same thing they did last week against the Raiders. They don't finish teams off, and they let them back in the games. The Cowboys, being down 20-6 with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, made it a 3-point game and nearly tied it. Are you kidding me? I can't, be bugging out here, guys. This can't be happening. I don't understand how Dak Prescott does absolutely nothing and plays mid for 3.5 quarters, and then he starts playing good in the last half quarter. That's Dak Prescott. He's a garbage time machine. That's what he lives off. When he faces good teams, he plays bad majority of the game, and then has the stats at the very end. That's him. But also, the Ravens let them back in the game. The whole team was dysfunctional. CeeDee Lamb was yelling at Dak. Micah was yelling at the defense. This should have been an easy blow, but they let him back in. The only reason the Ravens won this game is because the Cowboys' defense is so dog shit that it wasn't physically possible for the Cowboys to come back. That is the only reason. My God, I never felt like we won but lost a game at the same time. On to Buffalo next week. Of all the games this week that surprised me the most, I would have to say it's the Rams-Niners game. The Niners off a loss, and the Rams playing without their two best players in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, go into San Francisco and were getting worked for majority of the game and still managed to pull out a win at the very end. The Rams are a very well-coached team. Their team may not be very good, their defense may not be very good, and their O-line may be hurt, but you can tell these guys have trust in Sean McVay and faith in Matthew Stafford as a quarterback, which is a sign of a good team. Sorta. The Rams impressed me. I'm happy for them to win, because gosh darn, they needed some life, and that should give them a boost. And the Niners, well, Brandon Staley doesn't seem to be a good hire now, does it? Does it, guys? So, Tua needs to come back. ASAP. Needs to come back ASAP, because Skylar Thompson is not it. He's not it, you guys. They still have Skylar Thompson for 2 years now. You gotta get a new quarterback. He's not a good backup. My goodness, every quarterback that's played besides Tua on the Dolphins has been terrible. It's actually atrocious. This game was not close. The Seattle Seahawks came in and just won with ease. Sometimes teams, when their quarterback goes out, their defense steps up. The Dolphins' defense is not one of those defenses that stepped up. They sat down the entire game, and the Seahawks did whatever they wanted to do with them. Metcalf, JSN, Lockett, Charbonnet. Sorry, Dolphins fans, it ain't looking too good. The season looks like it'd be in jeopardy. But Seahawks fans, this could be the year they win the division for the first time in a while. Who doesn't love to see that? Damn, I thought the Cardinals were going to put up a better fight than that. But you know what? I may have overestimated them a bit. They came in and destroyed the Rams, but they go into the Lions. Lions have a loss. Lions beat them. Lions defense played much better. It sucks, but the Lions are a good team at the end of the day. What can you say? The Cardinals, though, I still have faith in them. I still like their offense a lot. Their defense still gives me issues. I still think this team has a lot of hope for the future. The Lions look to be back to their regular form. Jared Goff played pretty solid for a majority of the game besides his interception. So things are looking up for both teams, in my opinion. So good job. What a shocker. The Chiefs game that goes down to the wire and ends on an iffy call. It's almost like it's happened 3 weeks in a row. Oh, because it has. Nah, I won't be salty. The Ravens one was fair. Isaiah Likely was out. But the Bengals one and this one, yikes. Now, the Falcons came in not as good as I thought they would. I thought they'd come in with a little more offensive explosiveness. In the first drive, they looked good, but the rest of the game, they looked, not very good. Their play calling was questionable. Don't get me wrong. It's still better than the man who shall not be named, but it's still questionable. And then at the very end of the game, Kyle Pitts was clearly interfered with by the Chiefs corner. No call, Chiefs ball, game's over. That's pretty much all I wrote. I don't like saying the Chiefs get picky calls, but they called the Bengals call, which I do think is a pass interference, but it is close. It is a close call, but fair enough. I think it's pass interference. This is a clear pass interference call to the guy who got the ball passed to, and you don't call it. I just don't understand it. I don't know if it's bias. I don't know. I'm not going to point out things and say it's bias. Maybe it is bias. I don't know. I don't know what's going through the referees' heads. Maybe they got a fat check from Mr. Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just want to kiss ass. I don't know. Or maybe they're just dog shit. I'm going to go with the all three. They're all three. They're getting paid, they've biased Mahomes, and they're dog shit. That's the answer I'm going with. Chiefs win? God damn. The Buffalo Bills, man. They came in to their own home turf, invited the Jags for dinner, and then just massacred them. Uzi to the chest. Dead. Destroyed them. No chance. The Jaguars came in 0-2, Bills 2-0, and you would think the Jaguars would come in with a little bit of urgency, but no, the Bills came in with more urgency up than the Jaguars and kicked the living shit out of them on national TV. This is borderline a snuff film. It was so bad. My goodness, Jacksonville, get it together. Buffalo, well, you guys are doing very well, so don't do this to us next week, please. Please don't. Jaden Daniels has arrived. The passing of a torch. From one LSU quarterback to the next, the torch has been passed. Joe Burrow, you had a good run, my man. Jaden Daniels' time. Not just joking. Joe Burrow played very well. The Bengals just kind of suck. Jaden Daniels, though, my goodness, he looks to be the breakout quarterback of this draft class in year one, and he's already looking good. He's making throws that are very, very hard for most quarterbacks to do, and only certain quarterbacks I've seen can make those throws. His scrambling ability is transitioning way better to the NFL than Caleb Williams. Now, Washington has a better O-line than Caleb Williams' Bears, but still, he's done very well. Every game this year, he has not gotten a single turnover, and this game was truly a breakout game. On the road, on live TV, good for Jaden Daniels. Terry McLaurin finally has a guy who can place the ball neatly in his hands. Whoa, we are back here after week 4 is done, and it is in fact done forever. Until next year. Enough chit-chat, let's get into the games. This game was certainly a Giants-Cowboys game. A actually rather more competitive Giants-Cowboys game, where the Giants legit almost won by kicking field goals the entire game. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but the Cowboys stopped the run very well. However, the Giants still managed to get up the field with ease every single drive. So I don't know if that makes it worse or better that they stopped the run, considering their defense was still letting up a lot of yards. The Giants managed to pull it a win because they are a better team and Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. But Malik Neighbors showed up big, CeeDee Lamb showed up big, but Cowboys didn't leave this game without a few casualties. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are going to miss a few weeks due to injury. That is your two best front 7 players out for a few weeks. The next 3 games they have are pretty tough, so that's not good. MetLife Turf is ruthless, and it takes no prisoners. Baker is still on, despite their offensive line being not very good. Baker is still slinging it and has done very well against pressure. The offense of the Eagles did not do well. I thought they would actually do some good, but the run game with Barkley wasn't really working. He got a few good runs, but they couldn't really do much after that. Eagles offense and defense both struggled mightily against the Buccaneers, which is not a good sign. Eagles got some more injuries, but yeah, it ain't looking too good. Baker and the boys are rolling on. I'm very sick. I apologize in advance. Well, the Saints have officially come back down to earth after their first 2 weeks of the NFL season. They looked great, but now they are coming back down to earth and losing to games like the Eagles and the Falcons. And Falcons' defense is still pretty darn good. Can't deny that. Although Kirk Cousins and the offense are struggling again. They're not really getting into a flow. They kind of tempt you with some plays, but then just not do very much after that. What I'm trying to say is, the Falcons need some work, and the Saints, all they really did was kick the shit out of the Carolina Panthers and the Cowboys, and then just dipped. But I'll say one thing to finish us off. Younghoe Koo is the man. Okay, so this game is just annoying as hell. Trevor Lawrence actually played a pretty darn good game. The Jags, overall, their whole team, defensively, offensively, played pretty good. But they had one thing wrong with them. Their coach is a fool. He is a fool. Before I get on that, I want to say C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins are one of the best connections in the NFL and are insanely lethal. But I want to say this. Texans did great in offense and defense too. Doug Peterson. Why the hell are you throwing 3rd and goal at the 1 and doing Trevor Lawrence lining up in a shotgun for a run up the middle? What are you doing? And then you get the ball back with 3 minutes left and you do 2 throws? If you just wasted time, the Texans would not have time for a touchdown. The game would be a tie game going into overtime. Who knows? Such a terrible call. You're an experienced coach. What the hell are you doing, man? Fire this man. The Vikings and Packers. Well, I guess the Vikings are just the greatest team of all time. Well, what's to say? They have not fallen off a cliff yet. I thought this would be the game. They are 4-0. They have dominated every opponent. Maybe not the Packers. They've done a little hiccups, but they were dominating the Packers majority of this game. I'm dumbfounded. I don't know what to think of this team. Sam Darnold has 11 touchdown passes in 4 games. He's nearly averaging 3 a game. He's got to be an MVP frontrunner right now. And I know for a dang fact he's going to come back down to earth any week now. I know it's going to happen. And the Packers, maybe you should have let Love sit another week. It wouldn't hurt. If they were going to lose with Love, they were going to lose with Malik Willis, so maybe just probably should have sat him this week. He didn't look terrible, but he clearly didn't look 100%, and the Packers were not the team to win today and got smacked around by the Vikings and their great team. It's kind of how I expected this game to go, but not the way it actually did, if that makes any sense. AR-15 is out, and then he got put back in the game, and then he got hurt again, literally right after. Shane Steichen, what are you doing? Then Joe Flacco got to go in, and he was slinging that damn ball, and he got the job done today for the Indianapolis Colts. The Steelers' defense struggled, and if their defense struggles, this is what's going to happen right here. They're going to lose this game. Although Justin Fields, I thought, played pretty well and actually almost got them back in the game, but there's only so much you can do when your run game isn't working, and your only good target is George Pickens. And Pat Freiermuth, he's all right, too. But overall, the Colts are back to being 500 after starting off 0-2, looking pretty good. Those damn kickers, man. I'm telling you, those damn kickers. You miss one field goal and the game goes down the drain. Oh, man. The Bears actually beat the Rams. I know their team's a lot better because they have a lot of injuries on the Rams, but I still would trust McVay over Eberflus. But still, I don't think this is on Eberflus. I think this is just the pure talent of the Bears because they still got a talented team. Caleb Williams probably played his best game of the year. I know his stats weren't outrageous, but he only had 16 completions, a touchdown pass, and 150 yards passing. So you got to take what you get. The Bears offense actually did stuff, and their run game actually worked for the first time ever. DeAndre Swift actually did some things. But good for you guys. The Rams are still banged up a lot. They probably should have won this game. If a field goal was not missed, this could be a completely different game. If they just scored touchdowns and not field goals off of questionable play calling, this game could be very different, but it is what it is. We got to move on. Next game, Bengals, Panthers. Let's just be honest here, everybody. The Panthers were not going to be 2-2. As funny as it would be, the Bengals be 0-4 and then Panthers 2-2, it was not going to happen. Andy Dalton, though, still played pretty solid and got the ball out. Chuba Hubbard playing pretty good. And Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette actually got some targets, which is good because those are the guys they need to pass to. Now the Bengals, they won, but their defense is still fucking shit. But you know what? When you got Zach Moss, Chase Brown, T. Higgins, Andre Yoshifas, and Jamar Chase on your team, it doesn't really matter how bad your defense is, unless you're facing Washington, and then it does matter. But that's a different story for a different day. Jets Broncos. This game, oh my god, this game will go down as the game of the week. Bar down goofiness. Bo Nix, my man, had -9 passing yards. 3 receivers with negative yardage in the first half, and they still won this game. Oh my goodness. The Jets got down to the 1 and couldn't get a touchdown. Come on. What are you, the Jaguars? Come on. Aaron Rodgers still had a few iffy throws. I thought he played overall solid, but there was a rainstorm. Broncos had the ball with like 3 minutes left. They go down the field, miss a field goal, and the Jets go down the field and miss a field goal, and it's over, and it was just a big cluster dog shit. It was so awesome to watch, and I loved this game very much. Well, I think it's fair to say that it might be Washington's year. Jaden Daniels in this offense has been terrific, and they're winning games. They're only lost against the Buccaneers, and they are 3-1, leading the NFC. It's only a quarter through the season, but this is mad impressive. It would be freaking hilarious if Washington won this division this year. It'd be so funny, and I really hope that happens. Also, the Cardinals struggled a lot. They scored the very first touchdown of the game, and then after that, they just did nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't know what to say about the Cardinals. It was their defensive issues, but now their offense is struggling, so... ¿Cómo estás? See? Deshaun Watson still sucks at football. The Browns lost in a close game against the Las Vegas Raiders. Even though Max Crosby was not playing, the defense still held pretty strong. The defense did have a few cracks in it, but overall they still played pretty darn good. The Browns overall have looked way worse. Their offensive line is terrible. They cannot block for shit. And the Raiders' offense actually looked decent. They didn't need Devontae Adams because Jacoby Myers and Zamir White were enough, apparently. But yeah, Deshaun Watson took a lot of hits because his O-line sucked.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
I mean, what did you expect? It was the Niners and Patriots. Exactly what we thought they were going to be. Doesn't matter how many injuries the Niners have, they're still a great team, and they're going to beat the crap out of these shitty teams like the Patriots. Now, I feel bad for Jacoby Brissett because they're sacrificing him to the football gods to make sure Drake May is safe. You are doing God's work, Jacoby. I wish you the best. A classic Chiefs-Chargers game where the Chargers start off hot and then quickly simmer down to a cold soup. Chiefs take over the game and win. It's like every Chiefs-Chargers game ever. Some stupid plays, Justin Herbert in the offense stalling, Mahomes getting the touchdown to go ahead and win. You know, it is what it is. They got Kelsey more involved because he's just amazing against the Chargers. Travis Kelsey, 80 years old, could still pop off against the Chargers because it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, man. He's always going to pop off against this goddamn team. No, Patrick Mahomes did a deadly hit on his receiver, Rashee Rice, unintentionally injuring him. Now, I don't want to sound mean or ruthless, but Rashee Rice shouldn't even be technically playing in this game if he should have got suspended. I'm just saying, not to be mean, but he should have been playing, so yeah. Let's move on now.
That's the good stuff.
The Ravens finally for the millions and millions, got a convincing win this year. Hail to King Henry. My goodness, his last 2 weeks have been phenomenal. Now, the Ravens defense shut down the Bills offense pretty handily. And I don't know if this is more to say about the Ravens defense or the Bills offense, because once they shut down the run game of the Bills, their offense is very limited. And that could be a issue going on in the season. The issue with the Bills also is that their D-line is small. It's very small. Derrick Henry, when he's up against these guys, it's the same thing with Dallas. Dallas's D-line is small. Bills D-line is small. When you have a running back who's bigger and faster than your defensive ends, it's going to be a long day, and the Ravens sure showed them a long day. Thank you to the Ravens. 2-2. Doesn't feel like we're 2-2, but still 2-2. Dolphins fans, come here. Nice and close. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. You guys are suffering right now. You just lost to Mason Rudolph and Will Levis on Monday Night Football. Things will get better one day, one at a time. I thought Tyler Huntley would do some service, but it didn't. I'm truly sorry. Stay strong. That's the lines I remember from last year, baby. Run game clicking, Jared Goff accurate, and the defense letting up points. The Seahawks played a good game, but the Lions were simply the better team, and the Hawks couldn't keep up. Now, the Hawks defense is a little worrying, but from having Mike Macdonald in Baltimore, don't stress. He did the same thing in his first year as a defensive coordinator. Just a few hiccups, and he'll get back on track. No worries, Seahawks fans. He'll be fine. And the Lions, their groove is looking pretty good, and if they can keep this up, they'll be another top contender in the NFC, and possibly representing the NFC in the Super Bowl, but I'm getting ahead of myself, because we are only in Week 4. But that is it for Week 4 of football, everybody. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the games. Were they fun? Were they terrible? Were they good for you? Were they bad for me? I don't know. You gotta watch the games for yourself to decide that. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'll see you next week. Goodbye. Week 5 is here, and it is officially October, which means everything gets wacky and spooky and scary. So let's see all the spooky, wacky, and scary things that happen in Week 5 of football. One does not simply doubt primetime Kirk Cousins. They simply bet the house against him. And the poor suckers that did that, they paid dearly with their lives. 500 yards, 3 tutties, and a back and forth with the rival Buccaneers. Baker and Co. did well, but the Falcons were simply better. And Mr. Younghoe Koo could have or should have been better. But you take what you get, and what you get is a victory on Thursday Night Football, baby. In all seriousness, that was actually a really great game. The Vikings are 5-0. It feels like I'm living in 2016 all over again. Hopefully the same thing doesn't happen to these Vikings this time around. Anyways, this game was a lot like a lot of London games. They're always close. Sometimes one team has a big lead, then the other team comes back, but doesn't complete the comeback, and that team today was the Jets, unfortunately for them. I may have overestimated that Thursday win for the Jets, because their offense looks clueless once again, and the Jets are starting to look like the Jets. Yikes. Which ain't good. And now Aaron Rodgers has a hurt ankle, and the season is looking bad for the Jets. They're 2-3. It looks like the same schlock they've done the last 3 years. Golly, goddamn, this team cannot catch a break. The Minnesota Vikings just can't stop winning. The Dolphins got a lead! Yeah, let's go! Yay! The Dolphins actually won a game without Tua! And I'll be honest, from the bottom of me heart, I really don't care about this game. So let's just get the out of here. The Dolphins won, the Patriots suck. What else do you want? Hey, listen, I know it's the Panthers, but hear me out. Caleb Williams played pretty damn good. He's gotten better each week, and on Sunday, he had his best game. Not only him, the O-line played better, and DeAndre Swift actually played well. Again, I know it's the Panthers, but still, it's improvement. And now the Panthers with Dalton look terrible again, and sooner or later, if they keep this up, they will probably be going to Bryce Young soon. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Maybe he's learned some things. Maybe he hasn't, and it gets worse. The Panthers, though, their hot streak of playing good for 2 games seems to come to an end, and now they look bad. Hopefully they turn around, though. We shall see. The Jags have done it. They've won a game! Let's go! The might of Joe Flacco and the Colts could not stop the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence's scary hair. The Jags played very well, on offense. And T-Law played very good. Doug Peterson's job is safe for now, and the Colts, I have no idea. It's been 5 weeks. This defense should not be this bad. They have players on that defense that should be making plays, that are good, that have been playing good, but their defense continues to suck ass. I don't know how this is even possible. Maybe it's the defensive coordinator. I don't know his name, but whoever he is, he needs to fix his shit because his shit's Every week the Texans play, and most of the time they win, but they always win in the least convincing fashion, channeling their inner 2022 Minnesota Vikings with this one. The Bills, on the other hand, played a sloppy game with terrible play calls and an overall bad offensive play, but still managed to almost win this game and probably should have won it. Now, going back to the Texans, once Nico Collins got injured with a hamstring injury, their offense looked very, very basic. And it seems like this offense really runs through Stroud to Nico Collins. And after he's out, their offense looks not very good. They stalled out and blew a 17-point lead. But luckily for them, the Bills had shitty play calls. They picked off C.J. Stroud at his 15 and decided to run 3 terrible play calls, causing a field goal. Giving it back to the Texans. The Texans stalled out, punt the ball. The Bills, with 25 seconds left, decide to throw the ball 3 times at their 1-yard line. Not run the ball and kill clock and kill timeouts. No, let's not do that. Let's throw the ball and waste time. Give the ball back to the Texans at the 50-yard line. The Texans have 7 seconds and 1 timeout. They need a 5-yard pass. C.J. Stroud, easy, gets the field goal. It's over. What are you doing, Sean McDermott? And Joe Brady, I like you. Well, that was a terrible game for you, my man. But most importantly, Sean McDermott, what the f*** you did, man? Come on. And Josh Allen played a terrible game, but the Bills still managed to almost win. And now I'm starting to think that maybe the Ravens' win last week was not as impressive as I thought it was, because we're going to get to them in a second, but also, you know what I mean, the Bills, they're not looking too good these last 2 weeks. Texans, though, they look exactly the same, winning in at least convincing fashion, but hey, you're winning, so who the f*** cares? The Ravens, after one sound week of football, are back to giving me weekly panic attacks as they have a shootout with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Now, this game pissed me off very much, but in the end, we of course won, but still, the defense confuses me. 1 week they look great, the next week they look like dog shit again. I'm starting to think that Bills win was more on the Bills offense being bad and the Ravens defense being very good. And Lamar Jackson, oh boy, the things you make me feel. But even so, the Ravens offense could not stop the Bengals. But fortunately for us, a Marlon Humphrey's interception sends it to overtime, and then Lamar Jackson drops the ball. What are you doing, Lamar? Come on, man, what are you doing? But thankfully, Evan McPherson missed a field goal. Derrick Henry's beautiful big runs put Tucker in for an easy field goal that even he couldn't miss, giving the Ravens the win in a beautiful game we had on Sunday. Well, looks like Deshaun Watson and the Browns suck. Maybe you shouldn't have paid him that money, Cleveland. Cleveland, you guys did this yourself. You signed him. So, sorry, not sorry. To the Browns fans who've been there for years, I truly am sorry for you guys because you guys want to win. But to the Browns fans that gloated about getting Deshaun Watson and happy and saying he was good and he was a great person, you deserve this. So, you deserve this. Anyways, the Washington Commanders are looking great and are looking like the favorites for the NFC East and actually competent and actually look like a franchise future. In years past, they've won it, but this year feels different. Jaden Daniels may save this franchise. The Broncos are 3-2. You guys, I can't understand what's happening. They play like dog shit every week, and they come in here and just win the goddamn game. And at least Bo Nix played his best game of the year so far, and overall, the Broncos team looks just okay. It never looks that great. They win games. They're not beating, well, they beat the Buccaneers, but other than that, they haven't been great teams. Now, the Raiders, on their hand, had to blow a game 101. First, Devontae Adams not playing, of course. He's going to get traded. We all know this because Antonio Pierce basically just admitted it through subliminal messages. And now their offense looks terrible besides Brock Bowers. Gardner Minshew threw a 100-yard pick six, which is impressive to do. It's hard to do. It's actually probably easier to throw a touchdown pass than throw a pick 600 yards. And now they are 2-3 and kind of look dysfunctional again. This team could have been like 4-1, but they had to lose to the Panthers and the Broncos, for God's sakes. On the next game. The San Francisco 49ers are like that cocky ant you have. They talk a lot of shit, and most of the time they back it up. But when it's the most important day of their lives, they f*** it up, and you just laugh at them. That's what this game was. The Niners doing their thing, controlling the game for most of it. Then at the very end, they f*** it up. And a lot of people want to blame Brock Purdy, and I will blame Brock Purdy, goddammit. But it's not all his fault. The whole team kind of collapsed. The Arizona Cardinals, man, what else can you say? They blew it. They blew a 13-point lead. The Cardinals' season stays alive. So Daniel Jones is the most confusing quarterback ever because I thought this man was a dead-to-right quarterback without his golden boy and Malik Neighbors, but apparently not. He played a very good game, and I would say his best game because he's not having his number one receiver out there. And the Seahawks, what the f***? guys. You got home with advantage. You lost. You faced the Giants, and your defense plays like horse shit. And the offense played like horse shit. Now, Gino didn't have a lot of time because you're getting hit and smacked around every 5 seconds because the O-line is all injured. You know, the Giants' front seven is pretty good, but come on, guys. You got to be better than that. You're killing me over here. Making me look stupid. Giants win. You know what? Overall fun game. Jordan Love had his first game back where he played pretty good, although he did have the funniest interception of the year so far. Actually, no, Will Levis still takes the cake, but he has one of the funniest. And now the Rams, despite all their injuries, still almost won this game and made it very competitive. That's what happens when you have a good quarterback and a good coach. This is very sad for the Rams because they could easily be a 3-2 team if their team didn't get hurt, or maybe 4-1. But that's the NFL, baby. Injuries are part of the game. You just got to deal with them, and sometimes too many injuries can f up your team, and that is what's happening to the Rams. Now the Packers, on the other hand, are back to being themselves and look to be going on a winning streak with Jordan Love and being good, etc., etc. You know what it is.
Please, God.
This is God.
You wanted a Steelers primetime game? You got it. I warned you. I warned all of you. Game delayed to 9:45 because of supersonic rainstorm, only to transpire as the stupidest football game of this year. Let's get this out of the way. This should have been a blowout for the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys dominated time possession and had way more yards than the Steelers and drove the field easily on offense, and their defense stopped the Steelers offense pretty well. The one issue the game was close is because Mr. Dak Prescott decided to do his best Phillip Rivers impression of keeping the goddamn Steelers in the game. But even so, this game was still very close. The Steelers still have a lead at the very end of the game, but the Cowboys had the ball and they're driving, and they drive all the way down to the 1, and it's an easy touchdown, but not so fast. Landon Robertson summons the ghost of Troy Polamalu and keeps the game alive. It comes to 3rd down. Dak Prescott throws incomplete. It comes down to 4th down. Mike McCarthy takes a timeout to regroup his men. Now we're back to the game, about to see the final play, and Mike Tomlin took a timeout. Why would you do that? Whatever. It comes out of this. Prescott, 4th down, drops back, surveying the field. He throws it, caught, touchdown, Cowboys win! Wow, that game was something, and it is truly a game I won't forget. This game was terrible. These teams are awful. What a time to be alive. And the Saints are back to being horseshit. I'm pissed at this goddamn team. One thing is beating the Panthers. Whatever. You beat the Panthers 47-10. Then you beat Dallas in Dallas. I know Dallas isn't as good as the year, but that's an impressive-ass win. And then you know you do? You blow it against the Eagles. Then you do? You play a pretty solid game against the Falcons, which you, to be fair, whatever. Then you play like dog shit against the goddamn Chiefs. You sons of bitches. How dare you? How dare you gaslight the NFL the first 2 weeks? I spit on you. You cocks. And the Chiefs are winning games with Patrick Mahomes playing the most mid football I've ever seen in my life. 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, leading the MVP race, I think. It's terrible. It's a disgrace to football. For all I'm concerned, the football gods should be casting down lightning bolts at the Chiefs stadium right now. But too bad the NFL gods are actually funded by the NFLPA. And that is all I have for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this week of football. It was certainly a pretty fun week. Probably one of the better weeks this year. And that's all I have. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Let's review the games, ladies and gentlemen. Ever since Mr. Unlimited left the Seahawks, this team cannot beat the Niners at all. It seems like an impossible feat that cannot be done without some tomfoolery being involved. And yet, it won't be enough. The Niners, after goofing around for 2 weeks, look like a complete team we know and hate them for. Jordan Mason sustained an injury, but it doesn't matter when you got rookie Isaac Guerrero picking up the slack. The Seahawks, on the other hand, decided to stop being goobers and play some football in the second half. It made a slight comeback, but unfortunately the O-line is so bad and Geno Smith and his receivers are not on the same page, and it would be their downfall for this game, and it indeed was. Niners win. 1-5, the worst record in the NFL, biggest waste of time in the last 3 years. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on a speed run on how to turn around a franchise and then destroy it instantly, and look like the biggest joke in the NFL. Don't get me started on that blonde twink who's overthrown his receivers and wasted his generational talent in Florida. Dougie P's days are numbered, and no matter how you slice it, he will be cooked eventually. On the other hand, Caleb Williams has gotten better each and every week, and man, this dude is good. His first 4-touchdown game, he was on time with his throws, Keenan Allen was back, and his offense was looking great and clicking on every number. Good job, Bears. Carr's out, the rookie Spencer Rattler is stepping up. The rookie actually played a pretty good first half, but in the second half, things took a turn for the worst. But hey, that's the growing pains of being a rookie quarterback. Now the Bucs with Baker Mayfield goes from being one of the best QBs in the league to throwing some terrible interceptions. But fortunately for him and the Bucs, they pulled through because the defense stepped up big in the second half. Despite trailing by 3 in the third quarter, they won by 24. That's something you don't see every day. Sometimes the Arizona Cardinals come in and light the house on fire and play some good ball. And sometimes they come in and do absolutely nothing and get blown out. They chose the latter today. The Cardinals are continuing their inconsistent run through the 2024 NFL season and still not getting Marvin Harrison the damn ball. Now, Jordan Love and his Packers had themselves a great game where the defense and offense was clicking on all cylinders. If the Packers play like this, they will be a hard team to beat. But the division isn't exactly an easy one to win. More on them later. Anthony Richardson is back. Oh, he's not? Okay, Flacco's back in. Okay, whatever. Well, the Colts love doing their little Jekyll and Hyde impression with their QBs, and who am I to judge? The Titans and Will Levis continue their generational run of doing something absolutely hilarious, and of course, losing the game in the process. Seriously, they're favored in 4 out of their 6 games. Come on, guys, read the room. Flacco and his Colts continue to cook and win games, while Mayo Man and his Titans continue to lose. But they will lose in spectacular fashion to the joy of all NFL fans everywhere. Yeah! Here we go! Eagles-Browns was the game where I contemplated if it was worth it to keep watching football at 1 o'clock. And the answer is yes! The Browns continue their run of not getting a 300 total yard game. My God, it shouldn't be that hard, you guys. Kevin Stefanski insists Sean Watson is their best option at QB. He's not, and still thinks they can win. They won't. The best thing the Browns have done this season is give the NFC East each a free win. Jimmy Haslam has Kevin Stefanski by a chokehold and is not letting him make the necessary decisions to help the team. The Eagles, on the other hand, have their issues on offense. Despite their players returning on offense, they still look very underwhelming, and their coach is too busy trash-talking his own fans to coach his own team. Good job, guys. Let's cut to the chase here. This was a free win for the Texans. Stroud and co. could have left the game and wiped their asses for 2 straight quarters, and it wouldn't have made a difference. The thing I want to talk about, though, is the young Drake May, whom after his first 2 drives, got into a rhythm and actually played some pretty darn good football, finishing with 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions to a playoff team in his first start. That is pretty damn good. And he already has more passing touchdowns than his starter, Jacoby Brissett. Future looks bright in New England, so good stuff from the young lad. And the Texans, they're good, I guess. Before the season, this game looked like another Ravens easy win, but now it is one of the games of the week. Washington versus Baltimore. Lamar Jackson versus a younger version of Lamar Jackson, really. These two had themselves a pretty good game. Now, the Ravens were the better team in this game, but I thought the Commanders looked pretty good and showed that they are a top team in the NFL this year. Jayden Daniels had another pretty solid game, but the Ravens and Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson were just too much to handle. There's no shame in this loss. It happens to everyone. They're going to be back next week. They'll be fine. My Ravens are on a 4-game win streak, and I'm happy to say they're back, baby. They're back for a while now. Let's go. The Steelers, after being the silly little rascals that they are, finally locked the in and won a game for the first time in 2 weeks. And actually looked pretty darn good on offense, and Najee Harris actually looked good and was running good, which usually doesn't happen, so good job. The Raiders are already imploding, and it's not even halfway through the season yet. Max Crosby pushing coaches, Devontae Adams is doing subliminal messages to other teams, and Aiden O'Connell's the quarterback. At least Brock Bowers is good, though, right? The great rivalry of something. Broncos versus Chargers just feels like a nothing burger. Jim Harbaugh had a health scare, so I hope he gets well soon, but the Broncos have lost for the first time since week 2. It feels weird saying that, but they were due for a loss, and the Chargers were due for a win. And Herbert and J.K. Dobbins got the job done for the Chargers. Like, what do you want me to say? It's the f***ing Chargers versus Broncos, okay? It's just a game. It changes nothing, okay? Let's just move on, okay? Alright? Cool? Sweet. Kirko don't mess around, but apparently the Panthers do mess around. Take your pick, Bijan, London, and Kyle Pitts are doing things in the same game. Finally. This team looks alive and actually playing the best football they can. Meanwhile, get in here, now! Yes, you Panthers. You know what happens when you embarrass yourselves constantly? You get disciplined. I'm just doing this because I love you. I'm just joking. This is a family channel. I only mentally and emotionally abuse things here. My God, we witnessed the biggest ass kicking of the year. Children watch this, for God's sakes. For those who didn't watch, it was too graphic to show, so I'll show you a reenactment of the Lions-Cowboys game. Oh, we can show it? Okay, sick. The Cowboys got cornholed at home on Jerry Jones' 115th birthday, and it was sad. The saddest part is they ran with Ezekiel Elliott 8 times. Yeah, 8 times. Are you serious? He needs at least 15 carries to get going. What are you doing with 8 carries? My goodness. Anyways, the Lions look great, and them boys ain't looking too good. However, I know just the place for Jerry Jones to take his Cowboys to get the team back on track. No, this is not how it's supposed to go down! Giants are supposed to win this game, damn it! Whatever. Thanks, Greg Joseph, for missing those field goals, and it didn't really matter in the end because the Giants could not get a touchdown to save their lives. Daniel Jones went back to being, as they say, Danny Derps, the derp, as Mr. Tree would say, and they are back to being not great, and I think it has to do something with Daniel Jones playing at home. He cannot play at home. I think he's just afraid of New York fans, and heck, I would be too. I mean, they're fucking New York fans. They're crazy. They're nuts. But yeah, I think that's what happened there, and Joe Burrow had a nice long run for a touchdown, and that's about it. Game was pretty meh. What an interesting game. You know the Jets are cooked. They fired their coach, and that's when the best time to fire their coach is. The next game played good, and they still lost. Why did they lose? You may say their defense. Yeah, you heard me right. Their defense. Yeah, their defense played terrible. Their run defense was horrible. Ray Davis, just apparently he's the greatest running back of the week because he just ran through the Jets defense. Josh Allen was doing Josh Allen things and throwing the ball, being wacky, you know how it is. Aaron Rodgers played pretty solid in this game. Unfortunately for him, Mike Williams fell down at the very end, causing an interception, which was actually a really good play with the Bills player. But people are blaming Aaron Rodgers for this, even though it's not really his fault, but f it, whatever. Now the Bills finally won a game since getting their asses handed to them by the Ravens, and the Jets are 2-4. And what did they do? Oh, that's right, they traded for Devontae Adams. Well. Will this do a lick of difference? I don't think so. They don't have good receivers on their team. What is Devontae Adams going to add? Better O-line? Better run stop? I doubt it. Welcome, people of Earth. That was another week of NFL football. It lasted exactly 1 week, 7 days to be exact. Jeez, that's impressive. How'd they get the exact days right again? It's unbelievable. Alright, enough jibbity jabber. Time to review what happened in this week of the NFL. Well, in hindsight, the Saints had no Rashee Rice and Chris Olave with a rookie QB, and it was a recipe for disaster. And it sure was. The Broncos and their excuse for team moved to 4-3 and easily beat the New Orleans Saints. Even though Bo Nix isn't even playing that good. His rushing ability is underrated, yes, but as a quarterback, And the Saints with Radler, not good. And this team started out 2-0, and they're 2-5. Teams entered to shit, and have lost 5 in a row. It's a lost season, boys. Try again next year. Another week, another London game. We see England's team, the Jacksonville Jaguars, play another waste of a game. This team against New England. And well, let's be honest here, majority of people didn't watch this game. Including me, because who gives a shit? It's 2 bad teams playing at 9:30 a.m. Or for some people, 8:30 a.m. Or for some other people, 7:30 a.m. You get it. The game looked boring as shit. Jags won pretty easily, and Tank Bigsby looks to have officially replaced Mr. ATM as RB1 in Jacksonville. Dougie P's job stays alive somehow, and Drake May played a pretty solid game. So that's about it for that game. Josh Allen once again has a number 1 receiver in Buffalo in Amari Cooper, and he played a pretty solid game. This is great considering it opens up a lot of stuff in the passing game, like Keon Coleman as he gets his first 100-yard game of his career. Thank you very much. And the Titans, oh mama, they're bad. Mason Rudolph is an upgrade, but my goodness, he can only do so much when he's passing to tomato cans and Calvin Ridley's corpse. The Bills woke up and decided to bring, well, the boom in the second half and secure the W. Oh, I know you didn't watch this game. Why would you with all the other games going on? But I still gotta tell you what happened. Well, here you go, guys. Some bullshit happened at first, then some other bullshit happened after. Anthony Richardson played like a goddamn madman, and the Colts ended up winning. And yeah, that's about what happened in the game. Hope you enjoyed that review, you guys. I'm killing it. I'm killing it today. Trust me. I'm so happy this game was good. I've been begging for 2 good NFC teams to have a close and fun game, and oh man, did we get it. Minnesota took an early 10-point lead, but we know the Lions from last week, they ain't gonna stay down for very long. You blink, they scored 3 touchdowns, up 21-10. That's what Jahmyr Gibbs does to a man. But Jay Jettas on the Vikings has something to say about that and responds with one of his own. But not so fast, Khalif Raymond has a response with a Lions touchdown. But the Vikings are not breaking yet. They score a pair of field goals, making a 5-point game. The Lions have the ball in the fourth quarter, looking to run down the clock and run the ball. But then there's a fumble, recovery, the Vikings get it, touchdown, they take the lead. But fortunately for the Detroit Lions, Ryan Gosling in the last 3 games has been crispy. He leads the Lions down the field, draining the clock, to a Lions field goal, leading by 2. Game is over. GG's. Oh man, I need a cigarette. Oh, there's my cigarette. Battle of the Ohio Orange. Burrow sucks against the Browns, and on Sunday he was solid. The Browns are incredibly bad. They can't even keep it close with divisional rivals. But we gotta talk about the elephant in the room right now, guys, because a big thing happened. Nick Chubb scored a touchdown after being out for a full year. Good shit, Nick. Hope you get better as the season goes on. Oh, also, we saw Jameis Winston play a few snaps, and that was fun. The Bengals are starting to turn around their season as they usually do, but this team is definitely weaker than years prior. How will they keep it up? We shall see. The Packers on Sunday did everything they could to lose this game, but fortunately for them, the Texans were too busy kicking field goals and not driving down the field to win the game. Seriously, what was this game? Stroud threw for 84 yards and had a completion percentage less than 50. Ever since Nico Collins has gone out, the passing game has not been nearly as deadly. Stephon Diggs, while he is still good, isn't the premier number 1 receiver he once was. He was too busy pouting before the game even started. The Packers, on the other hand, had every opportunity to win this game by double digits, or finish the game in the 3rd or 4th quarter, but no, they have to give up some goofy INTs and a muffed punt. Seriously? And with this, it kept the Texans in the game. But luckily for them, they did just enough to win with a last-second field goal. Weird and wild game. Giants fans, are you ready for Barkley to come back to MetLife Field after he left you for a division rival? Yeah, Barkley ain't coming in here playing good, is he now? No siree, Bob. Oh my. Well, actually, this was a Saquon Barkley revenge game, everybody. My goodness. A close first half with a whole lot of sacks. The second half, the Eagles realized we got Saquon Barkley as running back and started using him. And oh man, did he rush for a lot of yards. My goodness. The Giants and Daniel Jones couldn't do a damn thing, and Andrew Thomas is out. And he's actually out for the season. There goes the O-line. It's over, Giants fans. And the game you realized it was over was against Saquon Barkley in the most brutal way possible. Although, I'm just saying this right now, the beef seems to be overblown. I don't think Barkley actually has any disdain towards the Giants. It's just Giants fans. Whatever. The Eagles are 4-2 and look really mid. So are the Seahawks good, or the Falcons just not as good as we thought? I'm conflicted because the Falcons haven't really had any impressive wins so far. Yes, they had the Bucs win, but division matchups get wonky. They're 4-2, but I don't know. And the Seahawks came in and just whooped their ass in Atlanta. I don't think the Seahawks are very good, but I guess the Falcons aren't very good either. Very conflicting game, if I do say so myself. The Seahawks are continuously getting injured as DK Metcalf left the game with an injury. Of course they did. Why would someone in Seattle not get injured? It's just tradition at this point, apparently. The Falcons' high-powered offense couldn't do a damn thing against the Seahawks defense, even though the Seahawks defense is also very injured. But in the end, the Seahawks took the dub, and it was a much-needed victory after losing 3 in a row. Falcons, and they were kind of doing good, so they were kind of due for a loss anyways. Oh gosh darn it, Jaden Daniels, no, don't get... Oh, he's hurt. He's hurt. He injured his rib. He's currently injured week to week. So fortunately, it's not a season-ending injury, and it should only last for a very brief period of time. Now into the game. The game was a shithole stomping, if you will. A cornhole, if you will. Even a mud stomping. I mean, there's like 100 different phrases to describe getting destroyed. It was indeed not only done by Jaden Daniels, but his backup Marcus Mariota was laying the smack down on the Panthers' candy asses. Easy win. Man, the Raiders they're just not the same team this year, man. They're just not the same team. Last year, they're kind of like, they're a middling team, 7-8 wins, but they had an aura. They had an aura to that team. Now this team this year, just skill level, it's about the same, maybe better, but it's just not the same team. There's no goddamn vibes. They have no identity. It's not looking good. The Rams were injured as shit, and they still beat the Raiders. And Antonio Pierce is questionable calls and coaching, man. What are you doing? I thought Antonio Pierce was aggressive with 4th down play calls, but I guess not. And the Rams have won, and currently the Rams are getting some players back. Maybe they go on a run like last year. Who knows? I tried to warn you guys. I tried to tell you last week. Everyone knew it, including myself. Even my adolescent chimpanzee knew it. See? They all knew the Chiefs were going to beat the Niners. Did they think they were going to win by 18? No. But we knew they were going to win some way, somehow. Now, Patrick Mahomes playing like absolute dog shit. And he's also taking advantage of slowing down, going out of bounds, and then tricking the defense, and then just keep running. You sly dog, Patty Mahomes. You sly dog. Then the Niners are into shit, and Brandon Ayuk's out for the year, and currently Deebo Samuel apparently has pneumonia now, so hopefully he gets better. It's not looking good for the Niners, because everyone's getting injured, and they're losing still. Even before they really got injured, they were losing. Suck. No, it can't. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this to me, Mike. You can't keep getting away with it. Every year they do this. bullshit, and it happens every year. This team has made several deals with the devil. Mike Tomlin might even be the devil at this point. For how mid his offense is, puts up 37 points despite being down 9 and late in the second quarter. How does that even happen? You have Russell Wilson's corpse throwing the ball to George Pickens and Van Jefferson, and they still put up points. New York Jets, I thought your defense was good. Where did that go? Where did it all go? It's gone. Whatever defense you had is just gone, okay? Wow. Unbelievable. I guess Justin Fields and Russell Wilson doesn't really matter who's in because they're going to win anyways. My goodness gracious. Oh my god. I can't believe this team won. And they blew out the Jets. The Jets are useless. You guys are useless. Oh my goodness. That was beautiful. It was angelic. I felt so blissful watching it. The Ravens are everything I wanted them to be and more. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, my glorious Kings, stunting on them hoes. And Rashad Bateman got a piece of the pie. Oh my goodness. This is just magnificent. Oh, Lamar Jackson, the offense, it's just so good. I can't handle it. Oh my gosh. Sorry. The Buccaneers, on their hand, started off hot, but then simmered down very, very quickly, and unfortunately for them, Mike Evans has gotten injured, and at the end of the game, Chris Godwin also got injured. Two unfortunate injuries to two great players. I wish them a speedy recovery. But on the Ravens side, my goodness, they're going to make me cry. Also, this game happened. It was the Chargers versus the Cardinals, and the Chargers tried to do their best Pittsburgh Steelers impression by kicking as many field goals as possible to win the game, and it almost worked, but unfortunately for one thing, Mr. James Conner had other plans for them. Yes, he did indeed. Kyler Murray and his speedy legs were just too much for the Chargers to handle, and in the end, the Chargers lost off a last-second field goal, and that is the most Chargers way to lose games. So that last-second field goal, it feels like I'm back in 2017 all over again. My boy Phillip Rivers. What a great time to be alive in the NFL season, everybody. The Cardinals are now 3-4, and they have a pretty easy schedule heading up, so maybe they can fire off some wins and get a winning streak. Who knows? NFC West is wide open right now. Hello, lad and ladettes. How did you enjoy football this week? You had fun? Good for you. I can't even hear you, but I'll pretend you did. Let's get on to the game. To my surprise, an actual showdown in LA. This game sure was fun. Puka Nacua is back and is already killing secondaries with a patented 100-yard game. Stafford looked sharp and the Vikings looked rusty to all hell, taking a lot of penalties and not being aggressive enough on fourth down, and it would be their downfall. The Rams have life and the referees continue to frustrate the NFL. I don't know, you call that a face mask. Whatever. The Rams pretty much had the game in the bag anyways. Alright. It's not like I didn't think it was possible, but I will say this game shouldn't have been close. There was like 4 dropped interceptions. Kyle Hamilton had the easiest one of his career and dropped it, and Rashad Bateman had butterfingers, but I'll be not salty anymore. Good for you, Cleveland. You and Jameis Winston, who should have been your starting QB since the start, won in a very good game for you. So good for you guys. Won't be salty. Your team rallied. The defense rallied. Good job. Certainly one of the most unique games of the week. The Lions laid a beatdown on the Tennessee Titties in Detroit. And at one point, the Lions had more points than Jared Goff at passing yards. Not a big deal, right? It can happen sometimes in the first and second quarter. Only issue is the Lions had 42 points in the third quarter. What the hell? The Titans are cooked. Perhaps their coach is going to get fired as well. And the Lions continue to roll with another impressive win. Yeah, I got nothing, Colts fans. You guys had yet another close game with the Texans, where you were so close but just missed your opportunities to win. No thanks to Anthony Richardson. Richardson has the place to wow and the place to make you go, oh no. The Texans, on the other hand, were underwhelming but did just enough to win because they're facing a QB whom, if you told me was an alien wearing human skin trying to be an NFL quarterback, I would probably believe you. Diggs unfortunately went out with an injury, which is another blow to this Texans offense, but they continue to win. Shame the Colts, though. They probably would have won if Flacco started. Man, oh man, the Jaguars continue their historic run of playing close games and then just losing at the last second. Reminds me of the Chargers with Phillip Rivers. Good days. The Packers played a very good game again, and Jordan Love still hears voices in his head to throw some devious balls.
Coward. We have a new world to conquer. You make me sick. Leave me alone.
He unfortunately injured his balls, so he had to leave the game. But fortunately for the Packers, Malik Willis has been a solid-ass backup, and he went in there and got the job done for the Packers, just winning with the last-second field goal. Packers continued their streak of winning. The Falcons and the Bucs had another duel, but rather than going shot for shot, the Falcons took a secure lead late in the game and controlled most of the game as well. The Bucs tried their damnedest to come back. When your best receiving option is Cade Otton, there ain't much you can do. And that's what happened, and the Falcons just won. They were just too much for the Buccaneers to handle. The Buccaneers are going to get Mike Evans back in a few weeks, I believe, but still, these games are important because of the division, and they've already dropped 2 to the Falcons. These are big games that might bite them in the ass later in the season. And now the Falcons have a stranglehold on the NFC South. Well. Turns out the Bengals, when they do their turnaround thing mid-season, didn't work this year. It came to a grinding halt to the Eagles. Didn't see that coming. I'll be the first to admit I was wrong with the Eagles. They played a really good game, and I would say their best game of the year. They actually looked good and showed what their record actually was. Passing game was sharp, defense was holding it down, Barkley was doing his thing, and Hurts is back to his 1-yard touchdowns. The Eagles are back, unfortunately. The Bengals? Your defense sucks. The Jets are cooked. It's all cooked. The defense is hogwash. Rodgers ain't the same QB anymore. It's all over. Their record the last 2 years has been better with Zach Wilson at the same time it is right now. You can't even beat the terrible Patriots. And you know what? This game should have been close. If Drake May didn't get hurt, this game would have been over in the third quarter. The Patriots would have won by double digits. Jacoby Brissett still got the win, which is still embarrassing to this once great defense. It's over, Jets fans. I'm sorry. Joe Namath probably made a deal with the devil at this point. Tua's back and he's better than ever. Crazy how much better they are when he plays. But unfortunately for Tua and the Finns, they gotta go through the juggernaut that is Kyler Murray and his Redbirds. The Cardinals have gotten better each and every week, and this week was a great win for them. The Dolphins, on the other hand, played good, but again, I don't know overall if they're a very good team. Tua being back definitely helps, and for God's sakes, Tua, be careful, geez. But no matter how you slice it, the Cardinals dug deeper than the Dolphins and pulled out a victory from the jaws of defeat. The Saints are also a team that is absolutely cooked this year and has no redeeming qualities for their team now because everything is terrible. It's all over. Derek Carr and his 1 week streak of being good is done, and Spencer Rattler is in, and he can't do a damn thing because he's a rookie and there's no one helping him. There's no one goddamn helping him on this goddamn team. And the Chargers are actually, they're an okay team. They're probably going to sneak in the playoffs. They're going to get bounced in the first round because their overall team is not the greatest. But, you know, they do what they do. They run the ball. Justin Herbert's actually throwing. They're actually letting Herbert throw the ball, so good for them. But this team sucks. The Saints suck, not the Chargers. The Chargers are fine. Wow. So I don't know what to think of the Seahawks. They go on a 3-game losing streak, blow out Atlanta when they're hot, then they get their asses kicked by Buffalo at home. Give me a signal, Seattle. What is your team? Make it make sense at this point. You guys go in and play great, then you play like dog shit the next week. Come on now. The Bills, on the other hand, are clicking. This team is very good. This team is much better than they were the first 3 weeks, and they started out 3-0. Amari Cooper and that offense helps it tremendously because it opens up way more options for Josh Allen. Keenan Allen and Khalil Shakir are way more open when Amari Cooper's on the field. It sure helps having a premier number 1 receiver on your team. It does wonders for you. Now, the Seahawks. Find God. That's my solution. Find God. Well, the Raiders tried, I guess. The formula that Pierce had cooked up did not, in fact, work. What a shocker. Mahomes actually threw more TDs than interceptions for once, so good job, buddy. Good job. Kelsey popped off for the first time this season, looking like his true and prime self. And the Raiders look dead to all hell. And a Max Crosby trade is not all that far-fetched at this point. Considering they're 2-6, he may not want to stay because he wants to win. The big man could just be somewhere different in a week or two. Who the hell knows? It's random. Showdown in Maryland. Number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams versus number 2 overall pick Jaden Daniels. Both rookies have been impressive this season, both supporting winning records. The game starts off as a field goal fest with the Commies taking a 12-point lead by only just kicking the dang field goals. But the Bears eventually respond with a DeAndre Swift touchdown, evening the tide of the game. Then there is a back-and-forth defensive battle between the two orange teams, but the battle is won in the end by the Bears, as they take a late lead by getting a touchdown with 27 seconds left. The Commanders have 1 timeout left. They failed to get in field goal range, which means they got to go for a Hail Mary. Good try, good game, boys, but let's just see what happens.
And it's going to be getting longer by the second. Here comes the Hail Mary with the game on the line, and the ball is caught! It's Noah Brown! Oh my goodness!
Oh my God, he did it! He is him! He is the Leeson Agib! He is the Leeson Agib! The tides have changed in Washington! We are living in the Jaden Daniels era. Oh my gosh, God loves Washington again. God damn it. 2 weeks off and you still can't get it done? Do you want to go see the gay Cowboys again? Because I sure as don't. Whatever. The Cowboys were actually leading this game at 10-3 at one point, and were winning at halftime. But the Niners decided to stop trolling the Cowboys and actually play football, lighten up the Cowboys in the second half. Dak and garbage time is money, so anything can happen, but unfortunately that quote-unquote comeback that almost did was a mirage, because once they got the ball back down 6, they didn't gain a single yard. Dak almost threw a pick immediately in the first throw, and they instantly went 4-0. My goodness. I know there's injuries, but geez, this whole team is a mess. The defense sucks. Dak is reverting back to his 2022 season by throwing a shit ton of picks. Mike McCarthy also sucks. Jerry Jones is racist, and Zeke is trying his best to keep the offense on track. Golly, it's not looking good. And the Niners, on the other hand, are just that one fish from SpongeBob who has a bunch of casts on and is all injured. But other than that, they looked great in the second half. Steelers Giants. And the game was actually closer than I thought. I thought the Steelers were going to win and smack some tails around. But, the Giants actually had a decent offensive game plan. They got to the field goal range a lot, but unfortunately the referees decided they're not allowed to score a touchdown against them for some reason. I don't know. You go ask them. You go ask the referees. I don't know what they wanted to say. Tyron Tracy's a certified running back, and it's a good thing they got rookies like him and Malik Neighbors because their future could look bright. Unfortunately, right now, their quarterback is Daniel Jones. He made a few decent throws, but overall, not good. Russell Wilson, on the other hand, made some pretty damn good throws and shut my dumb ass up because he played pretty well. Again. Also, it's against the Giants. Keep that in mind. You faced the Jets last week too. Keep that in mind. But still, pretty good. The Steelers won, and they're currently 6-2 leading the division over my Baltimore Ravens, and that needs to change because I can't live in a world where Russell Wilson leads the Steelers to the NFC North title. I can't live in that world, everybody. You can't live in that world. Hello, everyone. Week 9 of the NFL season is complete. It is done, and it sure was a pretty awesome week, if I do say so myself. We got a lot of great plays, terrible plays, and plays that made me think, what the is even happening? It was awesome. So let's get into the games. Let's start off with the Halloween game, the Jets versus the Texans, and this was sure a spooky game, ladies and germs, as it was taken on Halloween. Let's get into the details of the game. Texans drive down to the 11, but CJ Stroud got so scared thinking about the Jason X movies that he just gave the ball away to the Jets. But then the Jets returned with an easy touchdown, but Malachi Corley thought about the Predator movies and got spooked and dropped the ball. Texans get the ball back and get a Joe Mixon touchdown. Then Kymie Fairbairn decides to suck ass. Then the Jets finally wake up and get a touchdown. Then the Texans do some bullshit and get a field goal, but then the Jets drive down again and then, oh my god, what a catch. They didn't even need Devontae Adams. They already had a better receiver all along. Who would have thought? The Jets would then take control of the game and secure the W. The Texans continue to challenge the 2022 Minnesota Vikings for being frauds with a great record, but playing good. Right now, they're competing good. Dallas versus the Falcons, and okay, you know what? No, I'm not doing this bullshit again, man. You can't bench Ezekiel Elliott. I don't give a damn about his rushing stats. I don't give a damn how much he's averaging in game. He's your best option in the offense. It is criminal. This team of the Dallas Cowboys do this shit to them. He's a fucking legend, and you respect him. I don't give a damn. The Cowboys. Jerry Jones. Him and his racist ass. Them. They're gonna lose to Atlanta right now. Let's get into the game. Atlanta. Oh, guess what? The Atlanta Falcons beat them with ease. They drove the field with ease, even without Drake London playing. With ease! With ease! They beat this team because the Dallas Cowboys suck. Who would have thought? When Trevon Diggs doesn't have a pass rush, he's very, very not good. Who would have thought? The team runs for the pass rush. They have no pass rush because I was hurt! Dak Prescott got injured in the third quarter with a hamstring, a pulled hammy. By the time he would be back, it'd be the fourth quarter with 10 minutes left, down 14. I'm sorry, if he came back, they would have lost still. There's no reason to believe they would have won this game with Dak back. I'm sorry, the defense is just terrible, and the offense was stalling in the red zone. It's all dog shit. Dak, please, I'm begging you to get out of Dallas. For the love of Pete's sake, you are too good for this organization, and you're going to be there for 4 more years, apparently? My ass. Demand a goddamn trade. Get the hell out of there. I know everyone's going to blame him for it, but I don't blame Dak. He's the far from the reason why they're losing games. Get the hell out of there, Dak. You deserve better, and I hope you get well. And also, Jerry Jones, f*** you!
3 hours later.
Hello there, a little Cowboys update. Dak Prescott is going on IR. And get this, the Cowboys just made a trade for a player at the trade deadline. They're 3-5. Their quarterback's out. Their whole team's injured. They made a trade for a player. They made a trade for Jonathan Mingo. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I'm downright speechless. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna stop talking. The Ravens continue to roll. The offense, the Broncos, was too aggressive for their own good this game. I understand they want to keep with the Ravens, but if you're sacrificing 3 points over and over and over again, it's gonna add up. And they did. Derrick Henry is still my glorious king, and he's the first running back this year to reach 1,000 yards. Let's go. I want to see him rush for 5,000 yards. I want to see Derrick Henry just rush for 500 yards a game. That would be my greatest greatest gift of the season. And Lamar Jackson is also playing out of his goddamn mind. Last year, you could say he didn't deserve the MVP last year. That's fair. But this year, my God, he's leading it. He's playing like lights out. And now, obviously, I don't really care. I don't think he cares either about winning MVP. He wants to win the Super Bowl, and that's what I want to see win happen too. So hopefully, my Ravens keep rolling on. The Broncos, though, they were overdue for a loss, so it's fine. They're 5-4 still, whatever. Panthers won another game. The Saints had the biggest collapse this season so far. I remember back in week 2 when they destroyed the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. And I thought, man, I guess the Saints are pretty good. And then they had a close loss against the Eagles where they probably should have won. Then a close loss against Atlanta. Then another loss. 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 And now we're here. We're here where they lost to the Carolina Panthers. It is over. Done for. Bryce Young actually played a pretty good game, and I'm actually happy for him. But the Saints are beyond cooked. Dennis Allen is fired, and Michael Thomas is treating Derek Carr as if he was Hitler. It's rough. It's pretty rough in New Orleans right now. Speaking of more cooked teams, the Las Vegas Raiders are beyond cooked to the point it's just burnt toast. But the only burnt toast out there is their cornerbacks. Hey! As Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and friends easily dismantled the Raiders in a near-career game for Joe Burrow. It was pretty easy, though, because the Raiders suck. So, I mean, what do you want, cookie? Just cookie. Good job. Why would any sane man watch this game? Well, because you're not sane if you watch this game. It's Mason Rudolph versus the mummified corpse of the Patriots. At least Drake May is playing, and he definitely gives the best chance to win, and it's good to see a rookie out there, but my goodness, it was bad to watch. And he actually gave us a Josh Allen-esque play. And over time, he maybe gave us a little too much of a Josh Allen-esque play. I'll just look at the positives, though. He did well. He's a rookie. Who cares? The Buffalo-Miami showdown. I've missed this. And it was a darn good game. Tua's back and keeps the Dolphins competitive, and he's getting the ball to his star players. It shouldn't be that hard, Skylar Thompson. You're a quarterback. Throw it to him. Now get back in your closet. The Dolphins fought hard and fought tough, but it would be folly for them to think they could win because kicker Tyler Bass kicked the shit out of that ball for 61 yards. Bills win. The Dolphins are dead. Well, the Browns did try their best, but unfortunately their Linsanity run of about a week is over. We got classic Jameis Winston back to his old ways. The Cleveland pass rush was doing well, but can't say the same for the pass defense, as Justin Herbo diced up the secondary and cruised for an easy win for the San Diego Chargers. Sorry, Browns fans. At least you got, I'll just stop and move on. I know we always talk about this being a new era with the Commanders being good. Well, it's really a new era when the Commanders sweep Daniel Jones in the regular season. I don't think you understand. Daniel Jones has been haunting this team since he was a rookie, and the Commanders just sweep them. He's been the Commanders' boogeyman since entering in 2019, and they've swept them. But unfortunately for Daniel Jones, his time as a Giant is up, and his time at being the Commanders is up as well. It was a good run, boys. The Commanders are just too good. Da Bears are back to being mid and losing to the Cardinals by 20. Listen, I like the Cardinals as much as anybody this year. I think they're a good team, but you cannot be losing to them by 20 points. Caleb Williams may be getting his nails painted, but Kyler Murray will paint the wall with your blood as the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, James Conner, Marvin Harrison's there, they don't even use him. Trey McBride, they're tearing shit up. Third straight win, leading the NFC West. We got the Cardinals and the Commanders leading the NFC West. Pinch me, I must be living in 2015 again. Woo! I'll admit I was dead wrong with the Eagles. They were 4-2 and I said they were pretenders, squeaking out easy wins against mid-teams. But the last 2 weeks, they showed they're a pretty darn good team. Now, don't get your panties in a bunch. I'm not saying they're a great team. I'm saying they're good. But when you have guys like Saquon Barkley and Devontae Smith making circus plays, you're kind of good by default at that point. Albeit some horrendous decisions by Nick Sirianni, but in the end, they still won. Jags, I said what all I need to say about them past week after week after week. They're better than the record shows, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day. They're 2-7, and another embarrassing loss with the cock tease that is Trevor Lawrence and the disaster that this team brought. I am so disappointed in you guys. I cannot believe you guys did this. NFC West showdown. Seattle versus Los Angeles in Seattle. The Rams, after looking like a dead old dog on the streets, are now back from the dead and are on a winning streak. And they're in Seattle, and it's going to be a tough one because Seattle is just, they're okay. They're just an okay team. But that doesn't matter. It's their rivalry. They're going in. And in the first half, the Rams literally outplayed them. But unfortunately, the Rams, once they got into Seattle territory, they just stalled out, took penalties, and punted the ball. And then Seattle got the ball and then punted it back to them. It was over and over again, everybody. But for some reason, once a 2-minute warning hit, Seattle just came alive and fired off 2 touchdowns, taking the lead by 10 at halftime. But then the Rams decided we can't lose to Geno Smith, guys. So they started popping off. They popped off a touchdown. They came back with a field goal. And the Seahawks were thinking, man, we got to bounce back. They drive down to the freaking 5-yard line, and Geno Smith throws one of the worst passes ever for a pick six. 20-13. 17 unanswered points in this quarter. Now they punt back and forth. The Rams defense is lethal, and the Seahawks get the ball back with under 2 minutes left, and the Rams defense has been solid, but one thing for sure, the Rams pass rush may be very underrated and good, but their pass defense is really, really bad. And they let Jackson Smith get down the field for a touchdown. It goes to OT, and they get down with the ball. Their comeback looks to be secure, but unfortunately they go for it on 4th and 1 at the Rams 13. They don't get it. And a few plays later, Matt Stafford dials up Demarcus Robinson for a long touchdown, giving the Rams the win. And now the Rams are second in the NFC West in a tight division. Lions, Packers. Okay, listen, I gotta say this first. The Lions are the best team in the NFL. There is no debate. They're out with Aiden Hutchinson. I'm sorry. I know the Chiefs. The Chiefs had a few games they won where they could have easily lost. The Lions, on the other hand, have had one game, I would say, that could have gone either way where they lost. That was the Vikings game. But I also thought they played them. This team is so good. It's unbelievable how good this team is. And there's not a lot of competition in the NFC. I mean, so the Packers, man, they're home. They outplayed by a dome team, man. It was bad. It was rough. The Packers. Now, this is what I think the Packers. I'm scared for them because they're reminding me of a lot of the Cowboys in the last few years. Well, they'll have good records, they'll beat up on the mid teams, they'll beat up on the bad teams, and they'll get like a 10, 11, 12 win record, and then they'll get bounced in the playoffs because that's what they remind me of. And I really hope I'm wrong because I really hope this team starts picking up wins against good teams. And I know they beat Houston, but Houston's like, I mean, think about it, it's Houston. Houston's gonna probably get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Like, it's not a real playoff team, guys. They're all injured and their team's overrated as hell. Sorry, I'm sorry, Texans fans. I like CJ Stroud, I like to make a rhyme, but it's the truth. I'm sorry. The first thing you need to do is to get Jordan Love into therapy. For God's sakes, I don't know what he's doing. He got so much talent, and he just does some of the, oh boy, some damn things I don't want to speak of. Get that man to Dr. Melfi's office this instant. Get back on track. Packers will be fine. Sunday night game. Joe Flacco versus the Minnesota Vikings. I know Joe Flacco didn't play good, but you gotta understand, he still would have played better than Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry to say it. I love Anthony Richardson. I hope he's very good one day, but he played better than Anthony Richardson would. The Vikings have a top 5 defense in the league this year. Their own defense is good, and they were home, so let's just cut some slack. Sam Darnold played the game I always thought he'd play. Since week 1, his stat line of 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 300 yards, that is the Sam Darnold I've been waiting to see since week 1. He's playing too good, and that's the one I would love to see. And the Vikings got back on track with a spicy, decent win, but they still look a little worse than they did in the first 5 weeks, but at least they won. They lost then. That would have been bad. What you know about playing quarterback? Patrick Mahomes is back, and for God's sakes, he proved my ass wrong. As a certified Patrick Mahomes hater, he played really good, and I dare say his best game of the year as he's fired up to an actual wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. Seeing Patrick Mahomes and DeAndre Hopkins ball out is great, but looking at it now, it makes me want to cry because he has DeAndre Hopkins, and DeAndre Hopkins is still playing good. Why? The Buccaneers actually played a very good game. Without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, they did very well. They led the game and pushed it to overtime, but they probably should have went for 2 because the death sentence. You think you're going to win a coin toss against Patrick Mahomes? Think again, man. Taylor Swift's in the building. They get the ball. They get a touchdown. Chiefs win. Juwan Taylor does a blatant false start, but why even complain about it at this point? It's just going to happen.